So we're here with Maggie doing an appraisal. Go ahead, Maggie, tell us how the appraisal works.
So the way the appraisal works is that buyer's lender, and buyer will have a lender if the buyer is purchasing with a mortgage. One of the very important steps and a contingency is the property appraising at value. Now, what happens during the process is the buyer's lender orders appraisal. Then from the lender, the order goes to appraisal management company. Appraisal management company assigns it to an appraiser. Then a listing agent, in this case myself, gets a phone call and the appraisal is scheduled. So we are here today for the scheduled appraisal. I come in prepared. I always have comparables from the neighborhood, information about the neighborhood, such as statistics, how fast the property is selling, at what prices, what price ratio to the listing price to the closed price, as well as information about why is this property worth more or the same amount as recent comparables. So for example, what upgrades have the sellers done? Is the roof new? Are the impact windows new? Or are the plumbing or some other large ticket items, what was done in the house in addition to what's obviously visually obvious to the appraiser, like cosmetic upgrades, so flooring, kitchens, bathrooms. So once the appraiser comes in, he comes in and measures the whole property outside of the home, and obviously if it's a fourplex, outside of the fourplex, any structures are being measured. And after that, appraiser takes photos of all the rooms, so the appraiser can present that to the appraisal management company and the bank, and obviously asks any questions that might come up for the appraiser. Once the appraiser leaves, he prepares the report with all the information he has, and we have presented to him or her. Then that information goes back to the appraisal management company that later sends it to the buyer's lender. Buyer's lender is the last layer of review. So usually between the lender orders the appraisal and the time the lender receives the appraisal back is about a week. Sometimes we can get it faster, but please plan on about a week of kind of sitting and wondering what's going to happen. Now, what happens if we don't appraise? There are a few options. Now, option number one, the price gets renegotiated, and in that case, the buyer can make up the difference, the so-called appraisal gap, so the difference between what the bank thinks the property is worth and between what buyer and seller think the property is worth, so-called the contract price. So the buyer can make up that gap. The seller can also make that gap up, or both can make up the gap. So what I mean by that is the seller can lower the price a little bit and the buyer can come in with some of that money to contribute towards the closing. Or another alternative, of course, is that the contract gets canceled and both the seller starts all over again looking for the buyer, and the buyer starts all over again looking for the property they want. So obviously the best result is if the property appraises, we don't have to get out of the contract, we continue with the contract to closing, and we don't have to renegotiate. So the best solution is that if the property appraises, and usually to accomplish that, we come really well prepared, very well informed, on time, and very helpful to the appraiser.
Awesome. Thank you so much for explaining that. Follow us for more.